I was very worried coming into this game. There's been so much preseason hype because of the last two seasons, and there's high expectation, which is great, but that's on paper. It doesn't win any games. You got to play the game, and you got to play the opponent. And I knew this game would be a much slower pace, much lower scoring, and we needed to adjust to that. We didn't shoot great, not terrible, 38% from three and 46% overall, but we were very, very capable of doing much better. Our defense, we held them to 49, but again, to be where we want to be, we just have to improve our defense and our rebounding. Because if we defend better and rebound better, we're going to score the ball much better.
Jim, this ended up as a double-digit win, obviously, but it was a single-digit game most of the way, even for a group that has been through. A lot of these guys have been through an ACC season. How good of a reminder is it for game one to be one of these 5, 7, 8-point games most of the way?
Yeah, it's last year, as good a year as we had 17 games decided on the last possession. In the last minute, the last possession of each team, we either had to make a shot or get a stop or make a free throw or what have you. And we won the ACC championship by beating Pittsburgh by 2. They shot a 3 for the win. The week before, Florida State shot the 3 for the win and made it, almost from the exact same spot. So from a coaching standpoint, there's very, very little difference. Every game you got to prepare for because the opponent is going to be different. I was a little bit surprised. They showed a 2-3 zone at one point. I called a timeout to get our starters back in, and they never went to it. But we planned on them zoning us some because we knew that they wanted to slow the game down a little bit. And you see 62-49, it's not our normal tempo. A lot of the credit for our defensive stops goes to Bensley Joseph, because he guarded Marcus Burton, and he is the catalyst for everything that they do. He's very, very fast. He's really good going right. He got a right-hand layup. He got a right-hand drive. Made a pull-up. But he only ended up with 3 for 11 from the field and 0 for 5 from 3. 6 points. What's he averaging?
Around 16 coming into the game.
No, that's the game. We won by 11. We held him 10 or 11 points below his average. So. We defended the 3 pretty well. They only shot 18%. We defended them well overall, 28%. You would have thought, oh, we're going to blow them out, but no. These games are difficult.
Jim, when you speak about defense and rebounding, and you've said this to us before, what do you think it's going to take for your team to get to that level that you want?
We've told the players that defense and rebounding is a very specific mindset. Rebounding is neither team has the ball. The ball is in the air, it hits the rim, the backboard, and it bounces somewhere. The team that goes after it harder, more often, is going to win the rebound battle because it's basically a loose ball. Norchad gets so many rebounds. He had 13 rebounds tonight. He had a double-double. His 13, he goes after the ball. You say, well, he can jump and he's got great hands, but he always goes after the ball at both ends of the court. Right? We need Matthew Cleveland to rebound more. He had 5 today. That's better than he's done the last 2 games, so I'm happy with that. Right? He is a critical player for us, because he's replacing Jordan Miller, who was kind of a jack of all trades. He did so much for us, and we need him. You saw Matt today get a steal, get a dunk, hit a three, the different ways he scored. He was our leading scorer today. So he's our leading scorer. He's our, let's see where he was at rebounds. He's our second leading rebounder. Yeah. Wooga had 4, he had 5. But we only had 37, the opponent had 39, so we got out-rebounded again. But we're at our best when we defend and rebound.
And Coach, I was wondering, speaking of rebounding with Omier leading the team, how important was it for him to be out of foul trouble as he had no concern today?
You can't imagine how much sleep I lose because I worry about him being in foul trouble. He is such a phenomenal player. And when he's playing freely and he's not fouling, he's not on the bench, he's just a huge contributor in every facet of the game. You see him handling the ball now on fast breaks, giving it up. You see him helping on ball screens. You see him posting up. You see him on the offensive boards. You see him hit a little pull-up jump shot. His last basket was like a 12-foot shot. Now, all of those things, he's a very hard guy to guard. He sets terrific screens, and that helps his teammates get open. So.
In the first half, you guys, go on some runs, and you guys have a couple of droughts. The second half, real consistent. Just what do you think was the biggest difference between that first half and the second half?
Well, actually, I thought the bench really got us the lead. I thought Keyshawn George and Christian Watson and A.J. Casey, when they were in there, I thought they won their round. And I always talk about this as like a prize fight, 10 rounds, 4 minutes at a time. Every TV timeout is a round. So they won their round, and that got us the lead, and we were able to just maintain it. We never really pushed completely ahead. It was like a 6-point game much of the second half, but we never lost the lead.
How do you find guys who look at something other than the last column of the stat sheet and say that's what makes me a good player? Like you said, the job Bensley did was huge for you guys. He was
I hope they don't look at the last column.
But kids do. So how do you find the ones who don't?
Basketball is such a team game. It's so different than football. Football, you got an offensive team, you got a defensive team. In basketball, you got to do both. And the balance is so difficult for a player. And so half the game, 40-minute game, half the game, you're on defense. That's 20 minutes. What are you doing for the team to help the team win when you don't have the ball? And on offense, even the guy that has the ball the most out of 20 minutes only has it 3 or 4 minutes. So the game is really played without the ball. And you got to find guys who are willing to play without the ball. We were trying to run a number of things for Wooga Poplar today. And he was 4 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3. He only had 9 points. So I hope that he realizes I helped the team win. I did things, I got 4 rebounds. Wooga, is that good? No, Nigel, had 7 assists. So that's an additional maybe 14 to 21 points, depending on whether they were 2 or 3s. So there's so many different ways to contribute. Defense, rebounding, assist, steals, block shots, helping, playing good team defense.
Coach, kind of 7 games in, kind of the first quarter of the season, just what have you been pleased about with this team? I know defense and rebounding kind of things you want to see improve, but what have you been pleased about with these guys?
Well, I think the first thing is what a fun group they are to be around. They're really good people. They work really hard. I love that they're sharing the ball very well. We've only had 1 game where we really didn't share it. Today we had only 12 assists and 13 turnovers. That's got to change. Right? We need to get 16, 18, 20 assists every game. But we've been sharing it very well. I thought we shared it today pretty well. We missed some pretty good shots for us.
Jim, Syracuse opened at Virginia today. Obviously, Coach Boeheim isn't there. He was playing Notre Dame. Obviously, Mike wasn't at the other end. What is this transition in the conference like for you?
Jim Boeheim's doing TV today. I don't know for who. ESPN?
CW, I think.
Who is it?
CW.
Oh, CW. So he's doing TV today. I told CW I'm not ever doing TV because I can't travel by myself. I love being with a team. But with Boeheim, Coach K, Roy Williams out of the league now, it changes because there's a lot of youthful enthusiasm in the coaching right now. The league with John Shire, with Micah Shrewsberry, with Damon Stoudemire, Kenny Payne, new guys who bring a whole different personality to the league. And the league needs youthful enthusiasm because people are acting like the ACC is down. And to me, we just played a league that's supposed to be in great, the SEC, and we went 7-7. Right? 2 of their top 20 ranked teams we beat. And I think they were both were they both on the road? Clemson won at Alabama, and Georgia Tech beat Mississippi at home. But I mean, people would have thought, like I said, oh, Mississippi State will beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is one of the bottom teams, and Mississippi State's in the top 20. No, you got to play the game. And if you're not familiar with the opponent, you're not familiar with their personnel, you're not familiar with their defenses, your players have to adjust. And it's hard to do that in a 48-hour period, like, you know, you're introducing your players to it. That's why league play is so difficult. Everybody knows each other so well.
Coach, I know you already talked about the bench a little bit. I want to ask specifically about Christian Watson. It seems like he's really gotten going the past couple of games. Just what do you think of his recent performances, and then what are some of the different ways that he's been able to, you know, be impactful and contribute?
Yeah, he went 2 for 4, 1 for 2, got 5 points. He had 1 rebound, but it was taken out of his hands by somebody on our team, so he didn't get credit for that. But I think he got 1, but it's not on the stat sheet. I think being a sub is the hardest job in basketball. I don't care what level you're at. Because you don't know when you're going to go in, you don't know when you're going to come out. You have no idea how many minutes you're going to get, how many shots you're going to get, and you don't even know how you can truly contribute in the amount of time you're given. So to play well, you've got to be special. You have to have the mindset of so many players that I've had that were great 6th men, 7th men. Bensley Joseph last 2 years. He'd come in off the bench and he knew his role was to just dog the dribbler, just put great pressure on the ball. And he did it so well, he earned a ton of playing time. Right? Guys who can do that, come in off the bench and find a way to contribute. All of them want to contribute offensively, they want to score. But if you're not going to get 10 shots. They're used to getting 20 from high school. You might get 2 or 3 shots, and you got to be efficient. You got to make. If you take 3, you got to make 2. Why? Well, because that's what we're counting on, for you to come in and give us a lift for a short period of time.
Norchad, you start the game off with another 3-pointer. That's kind of been a bigger part of your game this year. Just talk about your play, you know, outside the arc and things like that.
You know, I'm just thankful for my teammates, you know. We share the ball, you know, we get everybody involved, so that's something we just work on every day in practice.
Matt, just coming off that loss to Kentucky, how do you think, you know, your team was able to, you know, I guess bounce back and rebound today? Just how do you think the response was?
I feel like it was a wake-up call. Just first true road game. We didn't do the things we knew we were capable of, which is playing defense and rebounding. So we knew if we took care of that, we would have a good shot to win.
Yeah, for either one of you guys, do you guys feel like you dictated the pace of this game well, or no?
We knew coming into the game, they're a team that likes to use their whole shot clock within their offense, 30 seconds. They run a lot of different plays. I mean, we held them to 49 points, which is really good defensively. They shot 28% from the field. So I would say the pace wasn't as like what we normally wanted to play, but it was still a good pace enough for us to still win the game.
Notre, you only had 2 fouls today. Just, I mean, how much of an emphasis has it been for you to, I guess, stay out of foul trouble?
Yeah, that's something I don't know how much I have talked with Coach Hill, but like every day a lot about it. He said he'd rather have me on the court than sitting with him on the bench. So that's been a point of emphasis with him in practice, in film, you know, just chatting every day. So I think he get to me.
Matt, sorry. You talked about defense and rebounding. Did you personally take that to heart? Essentially, you had 5 rebounds today, the 4 steals. We know what happened in the last couple games for you.
Yeah, me and Coach L had a meeting after on today's Thursday, just about how I can be better rebounding on the defensive end. So we just looked at some film and just being able to mentally prepare myself to do that today.
What was it defensively? You guys held them to 30%, under 30. Just defensively as a team, what did you like about how the team performed defensively?
We knew they were going to run a lot of actions, a lot of stuff that they hadn't run yet on film, and a lot of stuff with a lot of screens and misdirections. So just communicate and just being engaged on every possession was the big thing.
Seems like Christian Watson and Keyshawn, they really got going in the past couple of games. Just how are they able to contribute when they're on the floor, and then just what do you see from them in practice that kind of, I guess, is now translating into games?
Practice, they've been great. They've been pushing us, getting us ready for games, and it's just a matter of time till they're like fully comfortable playing. So over game by game, it's just been good to watch them go into themselves because we see them play at a high level every day in practice.
Norchad, there was a moment in the first half they had a small lead and you guys go on a 12-0 run. What's that like? You guys have been doing that, having runs like that offensively. What's it like knowing that you guys can essentially erupt at any moment?
Something that we say in every huddle, that our offense starts on the defensive end, we get stops, we run, so that's something we focus a lot on. Every timeout, every dead ball, we try to emphasize that in the huddles, that they start on the defense, and that's how we go on runs.
Congrats to Miami. Good coach, good team, good players. Right? You got to try and do stuff to limit what they do, and obviously transition is a huge part of it. And I thought we played really well. There was a stretch in the first half where they got out in transition way too much. They had bucket in baseline out of bounds, and they got out in transition, and that ended up being the difference pretty much. Anytime we had a chance to make any kind of noise, we turned it over. We let them get in transition. So we got to be better, but that's what good teams do too.
Questions? What kind of a good sign is it for you guys? You come on the road for a conference opener and hold that team to 62.
We can guard. Even for a group of freshmen and sophomores, dudes that are we probably started a whole group. I don't know if any of them's 21, maybe one of them. But they're believing in what we're talking about. And we're sitting in the stands and guarding, right? Transition killed us. The transition killed us. But for a team that's so good, shooting threes, 7 for 18, some of those were mistakes on rotation. Some of those were mistakes in transition. But that's got to it's got to give you some belief, right? For us to come in here and out-rebound them. We're even in turnovers. We make one less three than them. Then we shot a boatload of them, but we shoot more free throws. It's all positive. It's all positive. There ain't no moral victories, I'll tell you that much. I wish it said MV next game instead of L, but there aren't any. But we got to learn from this, and we got to keep getting better.
Yeah, Coach, you guys started the game off really well defensive rebounding-wise. How do you think you built on that momentum right away?
We've been a pretty good defensive rebounding team through the numbers. It was obviously Omier is one of the best rebounders in the country, offensive rebounders. And you leave this game and look, and he only has 2. It means our guys were doing a good job. Our guards were helping us rebound. Tay Davis is a good rebounder, getting 10, but Braden has 6, 5 defensive. Julian Roper has 4 defensive. Our guards get in and help us. Our big guys kind of box out.
Coach, what stood out to you about this Miami team after coaching against them today?
Just they got a bunch of different guys that they can go to and get high at any moment in time. And obviously, they're real. Like I said, they're really good in transition because so many guys can push it. But any of those 4 guards that they play can all break you down off the dribble and get into the paint. It forces those rotations, right? It's really hard to there's nobody to pick and choose who to rotate from, right? You got to rotate from everybody, and when they move it, then it's like now you're just scrambling. Right? And that's how you got to play in college basketball. You got to get people scrambling. They have the ability to make you scramble because they got so many guys that can attack off the bounce.
Where have you seen the most growth from your guys?
I mean, we're obviously fighting. Our effort is, you can't doubt our effort. Obviously with young guys, like their growth of being able to sustain mental focus. We're sustaining physical effort, but we got to sustain mental focus for longer periods, longer stretches. And that's where, these last 2 games, that's where it's gotten us, right? We had a stretch, against South Carolina the other night where we're in the game, and then one stretch kind of kills you. And the same exact thing here. One stretch kind of kills you, and I think we'll continue to get better in that area. But coming here and playing this way against this team, all you're looking for is belief, and we're getting more and more of it as these kind of things happen as we keep playing well in difficult environments.
Relatively quiet game, at least scoring-wise for Marcus Burton. Just in what ways was Miami able to limit him defensively?
I think with their hard edge and how they play, he was really focused on getting around the edge and moving the ball for us, right? He started the offense for us. He started some of those kind of getting them in transition. So, we ask a lot of them. Benson Joseph's a really good defender. Where I think some of the shots at the rim that Marcus usually makes, he challenges those really well. But he was more of a how we needed him to play. I thought he did a good job of it. He had 6 assists. He got it moving. He got other guys shots. He got other guys the ball. We got to make more. If we make more shots, he probably has a couple more. Now he's probably approaching 8 or 9 assists. So he's keeping improving. He's listening. He's competing. And we're asking a lot of him playing 33 minutes as a freshman.